So do you find that you are burning out at work? Are you just going from back-to-back meeting or back-to-back activity with no rest in between? And does it leave you very little time left for you, or even time for you with your family? Well, this morning I'm wearing blue, and the reason I'm wearing blue is because I'm going to be talking about living. I'm going to be talking about why this happens, what you can do with it, and along the way I'll share a little story about a director from a global pharmaceutical company who, having heard this tip, changed their life. But I'm going to be talking about colours. So before I talk about that, let's just talk about the colours so you know what I'm talking about. So we've got the 3 green behaviours: thinking, communicating, and improving. Now, those are the things that, if you have them in your calendar in the right proportion, will take you, your people, and your organisation upwards, make things better, because they're the essence of leading, and that's what it's all about. Then there's the 2 amber behaviours: monitoring and directing. Now, have those in your diary in the right proportion, and it will manage risk. Make sure things stay in balance and make sure you don't drop balls, because it's the essence of managing. Then you've got red, doing. That's productivity, hands-on delivery. And then you've got grey, floating. Now, floating is about not being sure whether you're really adding value or not adding value at all, maybe even complete waste. And the fact that we don't know the difference means it's a grey area, hence the colour. But then we've got one final one, which is the really important one up here, which is blue. And that blue is for living. Now, living is about looking after your physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. That's about looking after yourself outside of work so that you can finally bring the best of yourself to work. So you're burnt out. You never seem to have enough time. You're going from back-to-back meeting. You just have loads and loads of work. And before you know it, you're leaving work really late or turning the screen off really, really late. And then it's all you can do to just really go and eat some food and maybe go to bed. Now, that's not a great existence. Now, the reason this is happening is, believe it or not, because of something called Parkinson's law. Now, Parkinson's law, you wouldn't normally think of it this way, but Parkinson's law says that tasks will expand to fill the time available. And the problem is that our calendar is just a big amount of time that's available. And what tends to happen is, if people see space in your calendar, they'll take it. They'll grab it. I'll have that. I want a meeting with you. I'll have that. And especially in a world where we've now opened our diaries up, we want transparency. And so we make our calendars really, really visible to people so they can take whatever they want. And of course, what happens? Well, Parkinson's law says that work will expand to fill the time available. And that's the problem. That's why we end up with back-to-back meetings. That's why we end up with so much work and so little rest. But remember the analogy about the aeroplane, the big yellow mask that drops down when the cabin depressurizes. It says, put your mask on before you put anybody else's mask on. And this is about self-care. And what we can do is we can hack Parkinson's law to make sure we get that self-care. Okay. And what that looks like is, it looks like, and here's the tip, it looks like putting all the blue stuff in your calendar you need to look after you, the mask, put that into your calendar before anything else. Okay, so that could be breakfast, it could be lunch, it could be breaks during the day, it could be some exercise, could be whatever. Put some of that stuff into your calendar first, and it's going to do a number of things. One is it's going to give you some hope that you're actually going to get some rest during the day. 2, if you get there and you do it, you will get some rest during the day. But 3, it's going to hack Parkinson's law. And what will happen is that when people come to book time with you, they'll find that some of that time isn't available because it's time that you've reserved for you. We've spent so long living in the gaps between work, and this is about working in the gaps between life. Okay? So the number 1 tip I would give you right now, if you think this is going to be really hard, is just think of one thing. What's one thing that you know, if you could put it in your calendar, would give you a better opportunity to live, to actually take some rest in your day? Don't know what it would be for you, but just share a little story for you with somebody who did this. So they were a director at a global pharmaceutical company, and they saw me talk about this, and they contacted me afterwards, and they said, it's changed my life. And all they did was 2 things. They said, when I get up and I go to work, I never have time for breakfast, so I never start the day on a full stomach. And so they said, I've just started planning in time just to sit down and have breakfast. And then the other thing they said was, I know that during a really busy day, it would just be nice to have some decompression during the middle. So they've booked in a 30-minute walk in the middle of the day just to go and get some space. And they said, it's changed my life. And of course, that then meant that she brought me in to then work with that company and other companies that she's been with since. Okay? So, really simple tip. If you want to get the best out of you, you've got to start putting you first. It's not selfish, it's just common sense. Think of something that you will want to put in, plan it into your calendar first, and protect that time. If you have any questions, ask them down below. If you want to find out more, then get in touch. But in the meantime, have a great day. Have a great week. Get some